Knuckles Nation, we've won. But at what cost? As we all know, I'm the globally voted biggest Knuckles fan across the world. Oh my god. Oh my god. I've spent hundreds of dollars just to look at this man a few more times when I move around my room. He's easily my most played Frontiers character, Speed Battle character, and Secret Rings character. You heard me right. I love everything about this man, and his movie incarnation is so cathartic compared to other interpretations like Boom. It's nice to see they can make him comic without making him a fool. He's a badass, and they let him be. So it was really nice to see Sega finally invested in giving Knuckles the dream animated spin-off we've always wanted. Knuckles Prologue Divergence. Seriously, it has it all. Weight in his animation, a good art style, bangin' sound design, his internal monologue relating to his lineage, and of course, action. Oh yeah, and they made a series based on the movies. It was okay. Let's not be coy about this. The Sonic movies aren't accurate to Sonic. They have the characters from Sonic, and that's about it. It's a bit lame, but I can't help but enjoy watching bits and pieces of the game world find its way onto the big screen. It's pretty cool. If you ask me whether or not it's worth watching the first two movies, I'd say yes. Sonic 1 is a simple origin story to both Sonic and Robotnik, two characters who never really had one outside of obscure media. Robotnik steals the show completely, and he has the most interesting lore implications. He fits seamlessly into the primarily human-dominant setting. Movie 2 is about Sonic and Knuckles. The conflict between the owls and the echidnas is entertaining enough to forget about the mundane scenes in the human world. The action scenes heavily overshadow the filler in between. The Knuckles show really isn't too different from these at its core. The issue is that there's way too much of it. Wade the Whipple is a mean character. I was totally fine with having Knuckles team up with his foil. The entire vibe of this show felt like it was going to be one huge shitpost to begin with. The moment I saw Wade wearing the Knuckles onesie, I knew it was going to take the direction of, actually, I'm a warrior too. And I didn't hate it, because the concept is so dumb it becomes funny. The humor around Knuckles never gets old. He's a crackhead warrior, terrorizing everyone in brutal ways. He's too locked in for his own good. It does wonderful justice to him. He's completely different from his game counterpart while still feeling like the same guy overall. The humor around Wade is fine in small amounts. The issue is that he's the main character. They made a joke character the protagonist, so almost all of his scenes are trying to be funny at his expense. It's a bit much. At the end of the day, there are a few well-written moments in the show, but they try to jam-pack so much haha XD, it just feels a bit insincere. I was laughing quite a bit, but it got old shortly. The Sonic movies are comedies first and action second. It is what it is. I just wish the series was half the length, or even just an hour and a half long. I honestly ran out of things to say about this by episode 4. The first 2 episodes felt in the same vein as movie 1. They were fun. Episode 3 is... I don't remember, besides Knuckles and the mom performing a Daredevil one-take action scene. Episode 4 doesn't have Knuckles for more than a minute, but it's entertaining. Everything about it feels like a dumb hypothetical I would ask my friends to annoy them. What if we just made Pachacamac chill as f***, and Wade thinks he's him, and Iblis is here, and Green Hill Zone has these radical handmade badniks that say they're low budget, but they're actually pretty cool, and Wade can do a f***ing cool Cyclone uppercut canonically. I don't remember episode 5. I watched this yesterday, by the way. The takeaway I got from episode 6 was that they were desperately trying to fill runtime. They wrote such uninteresting, unfunny dialogue, I was fast-forwarding constantly. The relationship with Wade's dad was... I don't know. I don't care. Knuckles ate a giant piece of bread out of the bar, and I thought that was funny. The final fight scene is really cool the first time, and then you rewatch it and you're like, that was over in 3 hits. That was only slightly longer than the best fight in Sonic X. What the hell? And it was really cool to see Knuckles' Frontiers moves like the drill being used in live action. Nearly every human character felt like an insult to the good that was done in the movies. In the movies, I can excuse their presence because they actually feel like normal people with the occasional bit ongoing. They aren't intrusive. These characters are the definition of intrusive because they had to fill 6 half-hour episodes. They couldn't even get Tom for a single scene. The first few episodes are funny lame to the point where I can enjoy the cheesiness unironically, and the rest of the show is fairly shallow. If you want to watch this, genuinely just watch the first episode, the first fight, and the last fight. Look up a picture of movie Iblis if you want. Yeah, Iblis is here. It's implied Knuckles defeated him in his travels across the multiverse and took the Flames of Disaster for himself, which explains his SA-1 Fire Fists. It's pretty cool, but the reveal is glossed over super fast. I just hope we get to see movie Mephiles eventually. Dan Green on the big screen? Woo! Sheesh. Episode 4 in general develops Knuckles' character in serious ways, in the silliest way possible. I actually don't mind it. I'd rewatch it. Probably not more than once. It's a unique episode, and you can tell they were having fun. Let's talk about the villains, the part I was the most interested in going into this. They tried giving background to British woman by saying she studies creatures like Sonic, saying she betrayed a gun because they don't care that Sonic can total a street corner. I don't know, she didn't say much else. The other dude likes money. British woman wasn't totally annoying, and I could see a gun agent doing this. It's cool to see that they don't hide the fact that Gun is a shitty organization like they are in the games. I find that anything cool about these villains gets watered down by the constant humor. And I get it, these are inherently silly scenarios and silly movies. Even Robotnik is always goofy, but we don't really get a moment to go, whoa, these guys really know what they're doing. Even the other guy says he does illegal boxing matches or whatever it was, but he's scrawny, naive, and loses every fight. The buyer was interesting, but I don't know. He makes a living off of scrap egg tech, I guess. There's a much more interesting version of him in IDW. He has 3 scenes total. An immense shame, because someone this crafty could have had an interesting end goal or backstory. He's wanted dead for simply knowing Robotnik. It may seem like I'm glossing over them, but that's it. That's all they have. Really. Want to call my bluff? Sure you want to go and watch this just to make a point? Yeah, I don't know. I could go on about how it's interesting that Eggman has lackeys that go from weird to dangerous once they go ham with his toys, but there's no personal conflict between them and Robotnik to make it spicy. It's a dead-end concept. Even when British woman brings up Robotnik, she doesn't really have much to say about him. Something I dislike is that Knuckles doesn't even earn his iconic OVA hat. They build up Sinclair as a comic relief yet dangerous villain, and he has no interaction with Knuckles. I understand the focus is on Wade here, but it's lame how Wade wins the fight just to give the hat and the bike to Knuckles. I guess Wade got a jacket out of it? I would have loved to see Knuckles beat this guy's ass and then just take it for himself. It would have been a lot cooler. I felt a bit burned out after finishing this series. It's a shame. I've always wanted a good Knuckles spinoff ever since I saw him in Sonic Underground. This is probably one of my least favorite spinoffs. I still enjoy movie Knuckles and the movie first just fine, but it was a waste of time, especially near the final episodes. I'm glad Knuckles got some spotlight, but that was just not a good use of my attention. If this was an hour and a half and cut out a lot of the funny haha XD moments, you could legitimately make a rewatchable movie about Knuckles learning to enjoy life goals beyond combat, Wade standing up for himself, and a mother who grows closer to her kids. You could genuinely keep a lot of the goofy stuff like Wade proving himself against Sinclair and the whole musical bit, just make it shorter. There are probably 5 minutes worth of meaningful footage in that final episode as a whole. The show is honestly really cute and has a lot of really cheesy moments that are just genuinely funny because they're cheesy, but the show cannot stop itself from being so irritating more often than it's charming. I'm excited for Sonic 3, but sheesh, we will not be peeping this one again. That being said, you can make a pretty enjoyable experience by just cutting out all that stuff and patching the episodes together into one movie. Of course, you can only do that if you have the DVD, because other methods aren't legal. Anyways, the movies are always a secondary thing for me anyway. I'm probably way more excited for Sonic Shadow Generations than I am for the movie. But it's pretty easy to tell they're not going to mess up the tone. That's completely different direction between the movies and the series. Oh well, it's not the end of the world. We can always get an actual 2D animated Sonic series, and the production value in Prime was the perfect example of exactly what we need for this franchise. It's just the writing that needs to be different, and they actually need to take advice from the lore team. We're quite a ways away from actually seeing a film or series that we really want, but hey, you know, I can still enjoy what's there. when it's good.